Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost. Won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm gonna make them give back our past.
Guys. Let me tell you, the other day I had a Rice Krispie Frap. It was pretty weird, but also pretty awesome, I have to say.
What was that? A Rice Krispie what?
Frap, like a milkshake.
Oh.
They make that out of Rice Krispies?
It was like a special thing they did. It was pretty weird tasting, but also pretty
Who is
awesome.
Who is they?
This
The
restaurant
guy at the
chain
end of
in
your
Boston.
block that lives in the sewers and has little potions down there.
You have a really active imagination, Spooey.
Well, I saw some time ago where there was like a list of like flavor combinations that you could order from like coffee shops to like get like trademark quote unquote things without them having to pay for the trademark right to call it like a Snicker coffee or whatever.
No, this was like, it actually had like pieces of Rice Krispies in it, but they were like soggy. It was like rice pudding, actually. It's pretty awesome. Anyways,
Not crispy.
yeah, it was more like rice milkshake. I guess we should start this podcast. So I'm gonna start it now. Everybody knows who we are, but for those who don't, I'm Andrex. We have Malice, Spooey, and Steph tonight. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Steph, why don't you start?
Yo, everyone. It's been a long time since I've been here.
Way too long. It's been a long time since we've done one of these, for that matter.
I know. When was the last time that one even existed?
I want to say January, but it might have been December.
November-ish, I think.
Really? Wow.
Wasn't it before Black Friday?
Yeah, I think it was before the holiday.
Wow.
I believe we recorded one, but I don't know whatever happened to that one.
Oh yeah, the secret one.
You guys had an unofficial, unlicensed podcast.
Well, I say we had the official one, right? Because you were there.
Yes, I was there. But other people went off and were recording there. I think it was like Astral Frost and No There. Don't know who else was there. I think
Jay Florist might have been there too.
I think they gave me the file maybe, and I think I did put it up.
Yeah, you uploaded it, and I was waiting for that secret alternate version to come out, and then like 4 months went by and it didn't show up.
You know what? When I get my new iMac desktop computer, all of these issues will go away because I'll have the utmost in audiovisual sophistication, according to people I know. So take that.
So I think my iMac's dying now. So
Sweet.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Sweet, I killed Spooey's iMac.
Literally the moment I see that he announces he's got a Mac stuff now, I have issues with my hard drive out of nowhere.
Right.
I think it's a curse.
Conspiracy.
So I posted on Facebook that I got a new MacBook Air for work. And the hardware is pretty awesome, but there's a long list of little annoying OS X things that have been annoying me. Like you can't rename a file from the file open dialog, that kind of thing. But it's a learning experience, and I knew that going in, so I'm not going to really complain too hard about it. Anybody else here use a Mac besides Spooey?
Nope.
Nope.
Why don't we switch to a topic that is actually related to gaming, because obviously Apple has nothing to do with gaming, which Spooey loves to bring up from time to time.
Don't I know it?
So, anybody played the new Ground Zeroes, the kind of the prequel to Metal Gear Solid 5?
Nope.
No, we're gonna be picking it up tomorrow, though.
Steph. I don't have a system that can play it just yet. I'm still planning on getting a PS3 sometime in the future. But I have read spoilers for Ground Zero, and it sounds like they kind of jumped the shark a little bit, which I guess is kind of a Metal Gear Solid tradition at this point. So uh, take that if you're a fan of the series. I guess you'll probably like it. But it sounded like it went to some really weird places that it probably shouldn't have gone to, in my opinion.
Just keep
Well,
in mind.
Go on.
I was just
No,
gonna say the last Metal Gear game that wasn't completely insane, that did things normally, was the first Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1.
I thought you were gonna say Metal Gear 1 for Super Nintendo or regular Nintendo, or I guess what did it come out for? Commodore?
No, it was on the MSX and the regular Nintendo.
MSX. Okay.
That was good. I have that here.
But yeah, that's kind of the impression I got. Although people liked Metal Gear Solid 3 because it kind of went back to the basics and didn't have such a really crazy plot. There's still some craziness in Metal Gear Solid 3 from what I understand, though. But that's Kojima for you, I suppose.
No naked man cartwheels?
Unfortunately not, but there was the president grabbing people's private areas, from what I
I
hear.
think
Oh, so it's based on the Clinton era.
See, I think at this point, Kojima's just trying to make Metal Gear so weird and out there that people stop asking him to make the games because he hasn't wanted to make a Metal Gear game for quite a while now. But the last time that he said no, people threatened him.
Well, I think didn't Rising turn out pretty good, and that was kind of outsourced to Platinum. He was probably still overseeing it, but that was the first one I think where he was pretty hands off, but still liked the outcome.
It was a solid action game, but definitely not as acclaimed as the other Metal Gear games, at least from what I saw from the reviews and the public, the community's response to it. It was one of those that it got some criticism in general for not being a traditional Metal Gear style game, but that kind of happens with any spin-off in any series, that the hardcore fans don't like it because it's not what it's supposed to be, even though it does what it was supposed to do.
Well, I guess that's why it's kind of considered a spin-off. But Platinum probably needed that project in order to limp along a little longer. It seems like they're doing mostly licensed work for other big publishers at this point, from Rising for Konami and Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta 2 for Nintendo. I'm kind of worried about them actually, especially going into the new generation where budgets will undoubtedly increase. But we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Isn't Bayonetta through Sega, though?
They sold off the publishing rights to Nintendo for Bayonetta 2.
Well.
Sega pretty much said, we're not going to do retail games anymore unless it has Sonic on the box. So, yeah, it's awesome.
I look forward to the Wii U bundle for Bayonetta 2, because I that's the one thing that Nintendo will never absolutely ever do. It's the one thing they should.
It's right after having Bayonetta and Smash Brothers. That's just about as likely, I think. Cool. So I think the big topic that I wanted to talk about at this podcast was PAX stuff. Since Steph says she's not going to be able to go anymore and she doesn't want to scalp a ticket because she's a wimp. She doesn't want to come to Boston, have a lot of fun. So tell us why that is, Steph.
Well, I can't go into all the specific details out of respect to the publication and confidential information regarding PAX Media, but I think what ultimately happened is with this year we were looking at bringing basically a whole fresh new team of writers, quite a few people that was just onboarded late last year, early into this year, that really hadn't made it staple to the website yet. Some of them didn't even have anything published at the time of the application process. So I think for the fact that we had all of these new people that didn't meet the requirements. I believe that's why we got denied the passes, at least the amount of passes that we were told back in January we were supposed to be getting. So as a result of only 1 out of 6 people being able to go, we have decided that our resources would be best saved for maybe something else later on this year. There's talks maybe Prime, there's talks maybe some of the Comic Cons, but nothing set in stone yet.
So, what are you saying, that you still might go, or?
East is out of question. Like, that's not going to be happening. At least not this year.
Lame. You know, that was always
Would like to.
it was always kind of a worry for me, especially last year, where you were kind of like very confident that your publication would be able to get you tickets, and I was like, I don't know, but they did come through for you last year, so I was kind of I didn't worry about it as much this year. But yeah, that sucks. Stealth is going to be there, at least for Friday's show. Um, Matt is probably going to be there. I mean, he goes to like every PAX, so we might do something. I don't know if Rayo's going to be there. I should ask him about that.
When does PAX start again?
The 11th, I think.
The 11th?
Whatever the second Friday is. Yeah, the 11th.
Okay.
The 11th through the 13th.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
I will not be going.
What's that? Hello?
Hello?
What did you say, Spooey?
What did you
I
say,
said
Spooey?
I will not be going.
Ah.
I thought he said, what, Seth? Which kind of sounded like Steph. And I was like, what?
So, basically this
So
year...
this 30 seconds is getting edited out, I'm sure.
Anytime you talk Spooey, I'm going to be editing out, so don't worry about that.
So should I talk at the same time?
Burn.
It'll make me feel like I'm on the forums. It'll be great.
No, people, I think... Well, we're not going to get into that now, but... So basically this year, I'm not going to have anybody to walk around with on Saturday and Sunday. Thanks a lot, Steph. Actually, I don't even know... Like, there's really nothing I want to do on Sunday, so I don't know if I'm... Alrighty, so... my PC just crashed while it was recording the podcast. However, Audacity is a champ, and it saved the podcast. So I just spent the past couple minutes recovering it, saving it, making sure that part at least cannot be lost again. And in the process, I found that there is apparently an entire audio file for episode 56, which no thread ever got made for. So I have to assume that sometime after that last secret unofficial podcast, which was number 55, we recorded another one, and I was planning on making the video for it, but I never got around to it. I'll have to go back to it after we finish here and see who was on it and when it was made, but it's kind of exciting, I think. Anyways, we are recording right now.
All right.
Crap, what were the topics we were supposed to talk about? We were talking about PAX. I think we pretty much finished up that one.
I'm not going.
Yes, we
And I think that's where we
Yes,
we
we
kind of
know.
ended it around that.
I already had my big
I
conference
really
trip
wanted
for
to
the
make
year.
it this year.
Actually, if people do want to go to PAX, maybe they should keep their eyes peeled for Project G Forum's 6th anniversary spectacular Ganza, whatever. Kind of crept up on me this year, but I do want to do something even bigger and better than last year, so we'll see how it goes. I also think we should start doing G-Form streams again. Seems like a lot of games are coming out now, and the craziness of the holidays has settled down enough that we can try doing that on a weekly or multi-weekly basis. So yeah, exciting. Can you believe that the site's been around for 6 years now? Anybody? Yes? No?
How about that?
Who
It
would have
has been
ever
a
thought it
long
would
time. It makes you
outlast?
wonder.
Don't all answer at
There's
once.
I thought we were.
Spooey?
I predicted 7 years, so
So
make the last one a good one.
we have 1 year left before we blow up. When did you make that prediction?
6 years ago.
I would love to see if any of that is still around. Although I guess since G4 has been blown away, that you wouldn't be able to find it. But
Yeah, I actually wasn't. I didn't come over for after a while when you guys created the forums, right?
yeah, you waited like a year until.
Am I saying the name right? Is it Azrugan? Is that the way you say the name?
Azrugan?
Azrugan? How do you say the name exactly?
I say Azrugan.
I think it was he and Stealthmaster that kind of got me to come over here.
Yeah,
so.
They came over around the same time. It was all around when Steph was demodded for drama bullshit that we've all talked about and tread over in the past, so we're not going to bring that up again.
Well, the weird thing is, Steph is still around, but the entire G4 network is gone.
I know.
That is weird.
Except for their website. They're now hawking apparently Sci-Fi Channel ads and online games.
Apparently.
Gotta make your money somehow.
Sessler is at, what was he? He's gonna be at. He has like his own thing at PAX, but he's also at the Revision 3 panel. So I think I'm gonna try and see that. But Saturday's really packed. They have like the Mega 64 panel and the Giant Bomb panel, like within like an hour of each other. So if you want to like get a good spot at the Giant Bomb panel, you can't go to the Mega 64 panel. You have to duck out early because the lines for those start way early. When was it last year? I think I started waiting like 2 hours early for the Giant Bomb one, Steph.
Yeah, if it's something big like that, you do typically get in line like an hour and a half to 2 hours early because there's limited seating.
Unless you have a press pass like you did last year for the Capcom thing, which was awesome.
Indeed. Hence why I wouldn't go with the civilian ticket. Can't do that shit.
You're too good for waiting in line.
Exactly.
You can't just like forge your own badge like on Photoshop or something.
That's an idea.
Just take my one from last year.
Yeah,
just add a 14 to the end. It'll be fine.
Nobody looks at those things.
Were you really born in Vietnam in 1926, Andrex?
Funny story, actually. It was the War of Zanzibar. That was where I was born, actually. Close.
Zanzibar.
I don't know if that's a real thing. It probably is. I'm probably recalling.
You know, Zanzibar is in Halo. You know that?
Ah.
That's my favorite map.
Ah.
I loved that in Halo 2. Back when like you used to be able to play that in Halo 2. And then I guess they redid it for Halo 3. It didn't have the charm of the original one.
Sounds like most remakes. Uh-oh, wait a second. Okay.
Now I know you said that Audacity didn't fail you a few minutes ago.
Yeah. I was seeing if it was actually picking up my voice, but it is. It's picking up all of you too. No need to worry.
Well, you said you were going to edit me out though, right?
You're kind of growing on me, to be honest. I think I might leave you
every time I talk, right? Isn't it?
Just
Well, if you use the cream after 4 or 5 days, that rash goes away.
Oh. Well, considering you gave it to me in the first place, I think it's fair. I can't remember what we were going to talk about.
Can you believe that
I didn't even know there
Nintendo's
was
shutting
topics
down
that were
all of their
set up.
Wii Online games in 2 months?
I can believe it. They're also shutting down
It's crazy.
their DS games, and that network's been going for 9 years now. 9-year-old games. Yeah, I can see it.
That's the one that actually
Wait,
worked.
Nintendo had online?
Of course they did. How do you think we play Monster Hunter, Steph? Although I guess Capcom did their own thing for Try.
Nintendo had online back in the 90s.
The BSX. Or Satellaview.
The X-Band.
Was that
Were there a grand total of about 2 games that worked with that?
The X-Band was about 15 years
Yeah.
out.
The X-Band sounds like a smart.
You're thinking of the GameCube, right?
The only I remember was
It's just too bad
Right,
nobody
the
has
GameCube
one
did
in
have
their
an
possession
adapter.
right now. So,
What?
Seth?
What? I said the GameCube did have an adapter for something.
Yeah,
But
like
nothing
Fantasy
worked
Star.
Wasn't it like
It was
Fantasy Star?
Fantasy Star Online.
Yeah.
That on top of that, you had to go get a subscription with Sega for.
Well, they did have that. Was it Doshin the Giant in like Europe and Japan? I think.
That wasn't online, was it?
Wasn't it? I thought it was. I could be mistaken. It never came out here because apparently Nintendo doesn't like bringing out things people might want to buy over here. Or when they do, they make it a GameStop exclusive for like a week.
You're still mad about that.
I'm not mad. I'm just pointing it out.
They brought over Chibi Robo that one time and it completely bombed, so I don't think that's entirely true, Spooey. I think they probably have a better pulse on the market.
You know what the anger, the frustration is, you know?
No.
Is that I'm still waiting for Disaster Day of Crisis to come to the US and for anything for Project Hammer.
Project Hammer, you're never going to see anything from that. Who was making that, by the way?
I thought Nintendo was making one of their companies.
No, it was some studio, I forget. I'll look it up. Hold on.
I mean,
Doshin
it's
the
not like
Giant
it's the
was-
sadness.
That was
Remember
always the sadness was always a hoax so that they could get like tax credits or something. Pretty sure.
So it's basically like an Uwe Boll movie.
Yeah, but it never came out. It's more vaporware.
The Doshin the Giant was a 64 DD game. I don't see any mention of online play.
That was a 64 game?
That was a 64 DD. Wait. And the GameCube version.
Yeah, there were references to it in Smash Brothers Melee, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. There were some trophies.
Came out in Europe. I just don't know why it didn't come out here. But then, Disaster Day of Crisis also came out in Europe. So.
That one was always weird because it was like riffing on American movies, but then it came out in Europe but not America. That was always weird.
I'm sorry, Homeland. That's the game I'm thinking of.
Homeland?
Not Doshin. Yes, Homeland.
What's Homeland?
Which only came out in Japan. That one was online, apparently. From Chunsoft. I don't know who they are, but
They sounded familiar.
not to be confused with Sunsoft, makers of Blaster Master.
Blaster Master.
Blaster Master. Long-running Blaster Master series.
I don't know, actually.
They made it. You might actually know this one because they came out with a WiiWare game that was like I think a direct sequel or a re-envisioning of the original game. It's actually very long running. It started on the NES and then it went to the Genesis and then it had a Game Boy Color, PlayStation game, and then nobody kind of heard from it for years, and then they came out with a WiiWare game for it. But the guy that actually worked on the original game is the one that came back for the WiiWare game. I guess he wasn't involved in the other ones.
Chunsoft worked with the Zero Escape games, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon,
Pokemon Mystery.
Dragon Warrior games. What are they
Steph,
doing on the Wii? Sheer and the Wanderer.
Steph, did you get Pokemon X or Y?
Yes, I got X.
Lame. Y is the better version.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that one of you has X and the other one has Y?
Yes.
Can't you then trade characters?
That's
We
true.
could.
Isn't that the ideal way to do it?
Except I already completed my Pokedex, except for the 3 event legendaries that they have yet to release. Steph, if you get one of those event legendaries, I'll definitely trade you for them.
That would require me to go and do something. I don't do things.
You never even went to get the GameStop exclusive event Pokemon?
Nope.
What about Celebi? Didn't you get that for Soul Silver?
A long time ago.
And then didn't you sell Soul Silver?
Yep.
Poor Steph.
Because it's still traded in for like $25.
Steph.
Where did you trade it into?
Traded into someplace, Walmart, because they started doing game trade-ins this summer.
Did you hear about that?
No.
Walmart's doing
Indeed, I
game
did.
trades now.
I saw that.
Naturally, they're trying to cut into the business provided by Best Buy and Toys R Us.
Best Boy.
Turn on the fun.
Turn on the dark.
Turn off the dark.
Turn off
Spider-Man.
the dark. Yes. Anybody looking forward to the superhero movies this summer? Spider-Man, Captain America, X-Men. What's the other one? Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'll probably end up seeing most of them.
Yeah. Spider-Man is actually looking pretty good. Like,
If anything, I'll probably see all of them except maybe Spider-Man.
really?
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent movie when I finally got around to watching it.
The first one? I didn't like the first one at all.
The Amazing Spider-Man. It was all right. I mean, I
liked
expected it honestly from the previews to be a lot worse than it was, and it was a decent movie. But I still look at Spider-Man 2 as still being the pinnacle of Spider-Man.
Oh, definitely. This one is definitely going to be, they have like 50 villains in it, but it's going to be like a really hot, fun mess, basically. Kind of like my Saturday nights, I have to say.
Put the lid on the pots when you're cooking. Yeah,
Like, I'll probably
nobody.
I'll probably see it, but it's not going to be like top priority.
You guys sound awful. Hello?
I sound awful?
Yeah, it's been
I know what you're
breaking
talking
up ever since we pulled it back up.
Hello?
Freaking Skype.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
You
we
actually
can,
sounded
muffled.
Yeah, the
distorted
audio quality's
for a
been
while
bad ever
there.
since the crash.
But the weird thing was, the weirder thing though was that I heard for a while Steph and Joel both perfectly fine, and now they're coming in kind of taking it and muted.
Yeah.
I think
you
the
sound like
key
you're
is that we
talking
also
through a
just
can.
fly.
yeah, you guys sound kind of like you're on a phone. Hold on, let me
We should all just fly out to a room.
sign off and then I'll sign back on. We'll see how that goes. All right?
All right.
Phone call is closed.
Are we back?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You're too loud.
Oh, you are back?
Yes.
That's too loud?
Also, I need to turn. Yeah.
It's a little loud.
Hold on. No,
Alright, is this better?
I adjusted. We're all good now.
Yay, audio adjustment.
I can hear people somewhat.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, you guys are all much better than before. Sweet.
We should just fly out to a room like every 6 months and just like rent like a hotel somewhere
And have an
and
orgy.
then just bring a microphone directly and we'll talk, you know?
Or have an orgy.
Well,
could do
why do you have to wait 6
former-
months for that?
What's that, Malice?
We should do it somewhere within driving distance. We should do that somewhere within driving distance of my home, so I don't have to buy a plane ticket.
Where do you live, Joel?
Eventually back in Alabama. I'm in North
Alabama.
Carolina for a couple more months.
Alabama. You and Spooey see each other?
Not that I'm
Well,
aware of.
sometimes I hide out in his bushes, but other than that,
Emphasis not that I'm aware of.
how familiar are you guys with upstate New York?
Somewhat familiar.
Not very.
Apparently,
Not
they're,
at
they're
all.
trying to
Internet.
propose legislation to. Well, sorry.
Continue.
Apparently, they're trying to pass local legislation to help them build a convention center a few blocks from where I work.
Who would want to go to a convention in upstate New York? Who
Ah.
asked you?
Exactly.
Boston's the place where it is, you know?
Geez, they had a BotCon 97 was in Rochester, and then they moved it out to I don't know, California or somewhere. And it's never.
Wow.
So,
BotCon 97.
ah. Man,
Oh.
I got online and I met the Transformers people in '99. If I had only known 2 years prior, you know.
I think I'm missing part of the story here.
You know BotCon, right?
No.
BotCon is the annual Transformers convention.
Oh, I thought it was like robotics, like
Well, technically, I guess from Cybertron, they are robots.
I mean, like,
But-
didn't G4 have a show where like people built robots and they'd beat each
Check it
other
out,
up?
Robot Wars
Yeah,
and BattleBots.
BattleBots. I think that's what it was. That show was awesome.
There was
For two,
BattleBots
were
was the
almost
one.
exactly the same.
Yeah, BattleBots was the one that was on Comedy Central, and then Robot Wars was the one that was, I think, from Europe, and then Tech TV got the rights to it. And then when Comcast destroyed everything that was Tech TV, that was one of the few shows that lasted for a couple of years afterward.
Because it was kind of like a sport, I guess.
I think they already had the contract with them that they paid for a certain number of years, so they figured they might as well use it.
I wonder if it would be possible to like get a Kickstarter and like buy old G4 properties like Arena, just like hire Kevin Pereira again, make him grow his scuzzy beard back. Have
He
him-
actually-
A lot of money.
I don't know if you guys paid attention in the last EA, but Microsoft actually got most of the original G4 members that were still there at the time that they closed it down, including Kevin Pereira, to come back and host their own E3 events for 3 days. It was live streamed over Xbox Live, actually.
See, what I don't understand is with how big the internet is getting now, and people like branching away from like having cable and satellite, why hasn't someone started like an online like network?
Like Revision 3?
Like especially with like Twitch available on
People
all the
have,
systems and everything.
Like Twitch.
Revision 3?
Like an actual online
Yeah,
with
there's
like
television,
programming
Twitch TVs,
24/7,
and
like
also
basically an
Netflix
online
and their own
TV
stuff, I'm
channel.
guessing?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of
Like,
what
think of
Especially
Netflix
like-
having its own channel, specifically, where they just loop shows around indefinitely.
I think that's where things are probably headed. Just eventually, just like I don't care. Like I'm okay with commercials. I like being able to get online, stay on to, when I caught last week's Based on Hotel, I on my news website. And I watched it on there just like a normal TV show with commercials, everything. But I can watch it when I wanted to. And I think that's a good way for things to go. I would be very much supportive of that.
Well, that's where GForm streams come back in, right?
Yes. Gform streams
You're-
started being modeled after,
It's your 24-hour gaming stream.
well, not exactly without reruns, but it's kind of modeled after television where people take up, 1 hour blocks on the Twitch channel. It's kind of like Toonami actually, where it's like it doesn't run all day, but it does run for like a set period of time, and there's different allocations for each different show. I think it's a good format. What do you guys think? Hello?
You know, I
Every
need
time I try to
to
turn
look
on
a
the
little
channel,
bit more into it.
the reception doesn't.
Yeah, Steph, you especially need to start streaming more. I'm ordering you. This is a top-down directive for my G4 mites.
Well, doesn't the Xbox One have a Twitch thing out now?
Probably. I
'Cause
think they both do, PS4 and Xbox One.
Because we've got an Xbox One right there. And we have Titanfall.
Titanfall doesn't interest me
Let me look.
whatsoever, but I'm sure other people would love to see a playthrough
That's
of
like the only game that exists on the Xbox One.
it.
Does no one remember the original version of Titanfall?
Halo?
I was gonna say Mech Assault and Mech Warrior.
Ooh.
I love Mech Assault.
Or better yet, Steel Battalion.
Yeah.
We don't have a mic. Fuck.
Steel
If anybody's
Battalion
got an
was,
extra $300 to buy a controller.
yeah, that was always dumb. But Mech Assault, fond memories of Mech Assault. They should remake that.
You know, there is a Mech Assault game for the DS.
I think I read that, and I was really excited about it for a while.
That was one of the rare Microsoft collaborations that they had for the DS.
But not made by
People
Rare.
don't remember that time frame when Microsoft actually let people make stuff for the DS based on their properties, because they said that they didn't have an equivalent for the Xbox for a handheld device, and they'd rather they do it for Nintendo than for Sony because they saw Sony as more of their chief competition.
I remember Halo DS was about to get made, but then it was canceled. Or it was never greenlit, I guess. They made a demo for it, though.
Yeah, I think you've seen the videos for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big deal back in the day.
You know what map they were playing on in that demo?
No.
Zanzibar.
Of course.
There you go. Why do I remember this? I don't know.
I think I'm going to go look it up later tonight just for that.
It was that Bozon or Matt over at IGN that had that video?
I think it was both of them. They'd been talking about it on the IGN Nintendo podcast for a couple months, and people were just like calling them liars and stuff. So they were like, "Fine, screw it, we'll put a whole video together." And then people were like, "Oh, they faked the video." Yeah, it's stupid.
And oddly enough, neither one works there anymore.
Yeah, Matt works for Apple, actually.
Coincidence?
I feel so sorry for him.
After he started working for Apple, I think at least he started out like approving apps. He like completely dropped off the map. He doesn't even like tweet anymore. Doesn't say anything. At least Craig Harrison, Bozon, still occasionally tweets stuff out, but Casa Messina's just
It's like the
invisible.
Howard Phillips effect. You remember Howard Phillips, right?
Nope.
Howard Phillips was one of the original guys from Nintendo of America. Not to be confused with Howard Lincoln. But he did different translations and bringing stuff over, and he was the guy who, if you ever remember, you've probably never seen it yourself, or maybe you have, I don't know. Did you ever have any issues of Nintendo Power?
Yeah. Tons of them.
Back in the 80s, they had a comic strip called Howard and Nestor. He was the Howard of Howard and Nestor.
He was based on Howard. Okay.
And he had a bow tie, and he basically left Nintendo after a couple of years and made a stop here and there. I think he went to LucasArts, and then a year or two later, he actually went to Microsoft. And then nobody ever heard from him for like another 15, 20 years.
Kind of like Rare.
Who?
Do they still exist?
Yes, they still exist. They still
Are
have
they still
offices.
making Connect games now?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
That's their big thing now, I guess.
They-
I guess Grabbed by the Ghoulies didn't really grab people.
No. Wasn't there a fighting game coming out on one of their IPs?
Killer Instinct?
Well, there was Killer Instinct, but they actually
Yeah,
didn't do it.
They didn't make it. Probably because like nobody there today was there even back when they were still with Nintendo. So it's like a completely new staff. At that point, can you still call it Rareware?
Well, didn't a lot of the people from Rare move on to Free Radical?
I don't know.
Some of them. I think it was a lot of the people who were in the GoldenEye and Perfect Dark teams.
I think that's why you saw a lot of Time Splitter stuff on the Nintendo systems. Same thing with Second Sight, because they were basically big supporters of Nintendo. So when people were kind of pulling out of the GameCube, they stuck by them, basically.
Whatever happened to the Stamper Brothers?
The who?
People who founded Rare. Am I thinking of the right people?
Maybe. I thought you said Statler Brothers, and I was like, what?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still around anymore.
Didn't they get like a lawsuit or arrested or something? I forget what happened to them, but it was bad.
Well, I know that happened to Silicon Knights, but
that was way after the fact.
But I guess Dennis Dyack is no longer with Silicon Knights for like the last year or so.
Yeah, he did 2 different Kickstarter campaigns for the same game, and they both failed. So
none of them made it to like half the value or something.
Yeah. So they pulled the campaigns, and I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to get publisher support. Although after having a failed Kickstarter campaign is probably really bad for trying to get publisher support. Probably better off not doing it at all at that point.
What he needs to do is change his name to KJ Inafune, and then just say "feed me money," and he'll get like $4 million overnight.
Or Tim Schafer. Either of those works.
Yeah. Well, did you see? They not only did they release a new video for Mighty Number 9, but they also have that other game that looks surprisingly like a Mega Man X title that's coming out from the same company.
No, it's not.
That's making Mighty Number 9.
They're not riffing on Mega Man X. They're riffing on the Zero series for GBA.
Well, I mean, they're closer to each other than I guess the original Mega Man series would be.
Yeah,
so
I guess they're trying to build up a whole new universe that's basically Mega Man, but it isn't. Although I wonder at this point if Capcom was like, "We'll let you use the Mega Man IP for stuff," if Inafune would be like, "Sure, I'll do it."
He actually said that. He said he'd be willing to convert Mighty Number 9 over to a Capcom game if
he did.
Capcom was willing to let him make it the way he wanted to make it.
That's crazy. I mean,
I guess Capcom never contacted him.
It's kind of there's got to be like some kind of bad blood going on there because they released that fan game, Mega Man versus whatever.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Frickin' fan game. They released it as an official thing, but they won't let the creator of Mega Man do something with his own intellectual property that he made. It's crazy. There's got to be
Happy 25th birthday, Mega Man.
Nothing happened. Oh man. Yeah.
So for his 25th birthday, the only present he gets is a fan-made game that's only half Mega Man.
Yep.
And a figure.
Oh yeah, they announced the figure at PAX last year. They're like,
yep.
Happy.
Well, he also got that shoddy, overweight guy who's supposed to be the version from the Nintendo cover from the first game. And whatever one of those fighting games was.
Yeah, they put him in Super Street Fighter 4.
To anybody who's actually seen the cover, he's actually super thin on the cover, so I don't know why he looks as big as he does.
Well,
and even that they managed to screw up.
It's kind of like a perspective thing, I guess. But yeah, I think they put that in Street Fighter just to stick it to Inafune some more.
My cat is like a foot away from you guys right now.
But at least good Mega Man is going to be in Smash Brothers, so we have that to look forward to.
Yeah, leave it to Nintendo to be the only company that knows what to do with Mega Man.
Hey, it was the case for Sonic last generation. They put Sonic in Brawl, and then took a few years for a good Sonic game to come out. Sonic Colors and Generations and whatnot.
I still haven't played Sonic Colors.
I have it, and I played like the first 3 levels, but I haven't gotten around to beating it.
I think the only Sonic game I have for the Wii is Sonic and the Secret Rings, and I don't even remember much about it. That was like the one that came out a few months after the system launched, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I really liked that game at first, but then I went back to it and I really didn't like it so much anymore. Probably a right time, right place kind of thing. It was a good game for the post-launch drought, I think. It looked pretty too.
You know what other game came out around lunchtime, which nobody seems to remember much of, but I had fun with it.
What's that?
Elebits.
Elebits. I was just about to say that.
I loved Elebits.
How come they don't have another version of Elebits out?
They had a sequel on DS, but it totally wasn't actually Elebits. It was like a different genre.
Isn't it like an RPG
Like
or something?
game.
Or adventure game?
What's that, Steph?
So that game would work well in the Wii U. Use the like touch screen and like look around your actual room for shit.
I feel like publishers just don't want to do anything experimental anymore. Remember, what was that game where you were like, oh, De Blob? Like that. They would never greenlit that again. It's all about people shooting stuff and aliens and invasions, and it's very depressing nowadays, I have to say.
They would also not greenlight it because THQ is dead.
That could also play into it. But I think it's more the thing I said than THQ being dead, Spooey.
Who has the rights to that now?
I don't know. Must have been auctioned off.
Because I know,
What the
Proceed.
the THQ titles?
Yeah.
They were auctioned
Blob
off to a
specifically.
variety of different publishers. Oh, I have no fucking idea.
I know Nordic Games ultimately bought a lot of their assets that, for whatever reason, didn't sell. They're actually supposed to be coming out with a Red Faction compilation disc. I don't know if anybody heard about that or not, or a compilation set. But the weird thing is, it's going to have the original Red Faction on it that came out for the PlayStation 2, but it's not going to be on the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One. It's only going to be on, I think, the PlayStation 3 version for that. And they said it didn't comply with Microsoft's requirements, whatever that means. So they're only coming out with it on the PlayStation.
Means they're a bunch of wankers.
But why aren't they putting the second game in there, is what I don't understand.
That is a good question. As far as I know, this is semi-related. Sony, SCEA, basically Sony in America, they still have that requirement that any HD re-releases have 2 games in them if they want to be retail. Just throwing that out there. Oh, speaking of that, Final Fantasy X and X2 HD came out recently. Anybody get those?
Nope. Been talking about it though.
Spooey, I know you're a massive Final Fantasy fan.
My brother did, but
Are you a Final Fantasy fan, Malice?
yes, my brother actually picked up the HD games, but seeing as how I'm a New York grad student, I'm not buying any games right now. I've subsisted the past couple of weeks on completely wrecking Final Fantasy VIII.
We don't have the PlayStation 4 here right now, so there's no point in going out and buying PlayStation 4 games.
Isn't it also for
And
PS3?
I'm too lazy to go out and buy PlayStation 3 games.
And Vita?
Oh, did
Wait,
it
what?
come out on Vita?
I don't know. Thought it
Yeah,
did.
there's 2 different versions of the 10.10.2 remix.
Now, from what I understand, they're based on the international versions of the games, which never came out in America before.
That would be a good idea because there's a ton of extra content.
And a lot of tweaks and stuff, so that's cool. It's kind of like
Yeah.
what they did for the Kingdom Hearts HD release, where it was based on, Final Mix Plus versions. So that's kind of cool of Square.
Does that have Kingdom Hearts 2 in it?
The first HD release, no, but they're coming out with another one that has Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Birth by Sleep, and cutscenes from 358 over 2 days, I think. I think that's the case.
I
Sounds
still
about
have
right.
the originals here, unopened.
Well,
So
those are the
I'm like-
inferior versions now, Spooey, so get with the times.
I think I'm contemplating selling them.
Good.
So, or trading them even.
Cool. I think we should stop the podcast here on a strong note, especially since my sore throat is acting up and I'm trying not to cough my hardest right now, while still also talking a lot.
So now that we've covered why the guy's leaving Konami and Project Morpheus, we can let everything go quietly into the night.
Since we have covered all of the topics that I put there, well, if you want to talk about those, there are threads about those on the forums. Spooie, I expect you to keep posting on the forums.
I'm up to 2 posts a week now.
Yes, I see that. You're kind of like, what's the comic analogy here? It's kind of like Superman who was struck by kryptonite, but you're like slowly regaining your health.
So it's like I wasn't really dying, I was in a cocoon, because being beaten to pulp is what Kryptonians are like when they're in cocoons that are regenerating their health.
No, I think that's more like a healing coma.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. This was a good podcast. We should do more of these and not wait months in between time.
And I look forward to this podcast being posted before June.
Yes. May 25th
or at all
is the day I've set for myself.
Do it before E3. That's really what you want to do.
Hey, I have a whole nother...
Or call it the E3 preview.
A whole nother unposted podcast that I could also upload.
You should.
Yes, so I might, in fact, do that while I'm stalling for time putting this one together. So, thank you, everybody. I'll probably see you around the forums. Thanks.
Goodbye.
You're welcome. Bye. Jesus Christ, what the shit just happened?
What?
It's probably best not to ask.
Yeah, when Spooie does his evil laugh, it's probably not a good thing.
Evil laugh?
You mean that's your default laugh?
You took the things that mean the most to me.
Yes.
Well, we all know he's the James Bond villain.
Yes. And a hero's film.
I don't know. Oh, that's coming back. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
I never
That's
saw the
coming
original.
back
I don't know
as Firefly.
how, but it's coming back.
I never saw the original.
I'm hesitantly a little excited.
So, they say that maybe somebody from the original show might show up at some point.
How exciting.
So, save the cheerleader, save the world. Right?
Alrighty. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Bon voyage.
We've been given a second chance. Guide us. Lead us.
I don't want your future! We were supposed to protect them!
You're afraid.